Medal of Honor Warfighter. I've wanted to do this video for a long time now, and finally plucked up the courage to download this thing. I wasn't sure what was really going to happen when I started playing this game. I really liked Warfighter when it first came out. I guess I should probably explain what this game is. For those of you that haven't played Warfighter, this is Medal of Honor Warfighter. It was developed by a company called Danger Close, which is no longer a company, and it was released by EA back in 2012 as part of a rotation between Battlefield and Medal of Honor FPS games releasing every year under the EA brand. Around 2 to 3 months after release, EA canned the game. They stopped support for the game, they took developers away from the game, they shut down the Danger Close sort of development studio and moved all their employees into different game studios. The game essentially was a flop, and EA didn't see it that way, but they ended up putting the Medal of Honor series on hold because of it. The main reason that the game received such poor ratings is because when it first came out, there were lots of reports that the game didn't really work properly. It wasn't a huge departure from what we already knew Call of Duty and Battlefield to actually be, and overall it just wasn't a very innovative game. Now, I would have to disagree with pretty much all of those statements because I really enjoyed Medal of Honor Warfighter. Fair enough, there were quite a few bugs when this game first launched. It was virtually unplayable on PC, but after a couple of patches within the first couple of weeks, we were up and running and the game sort of ran relatively well. The map layout was fairly good. It wasn't the best maps that we'd seen in the world. There was a really good customization system for your weapons. You could pretty much play as any tier 1 level operator that you wanted around the world. So British SAS, US SEALs and things like that. You could play however you wanted, whoever you wanted. You could change the stock of your weapon, the underbarrel, the sights, and depending on which force you were actually fighting for, there were so many different combinations that you really could play however you wanted. Now, returning to this game 2 years after it was first released, I was actually surprised to find this morning 3 full servers for the game. You can have up to 20 people in a server at once, 10 per side, and there were 3 servers full, so there was around maybe 80 people playing this game on PC, which is probably what I'd expect considering the game was cancelled and not all the DLC was ever actually released and there is no support for this game. But having said that though, I had a really good time playing Medal of Honor Warfighter. It doesn't come without its quirks, but it was still, for me, a really good experience to go back and play this game because I can draw a lot of comparisons between this game and Battlefield 4. The first thing you're going to notice is your soldier runs extremely slowly and very lethargically as well. The gun sway doesn't help out much, but it doesn't feel like you're actually moving anywhere. And I think that's probably because to play Medal of Honor Warfighter you have to join the skill curve. You really do need to know how to fire weapons in this game because there is a lot of recoil. The guns don't handle like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 do with virtually minimal recoil left, right, up and down. You really do have a skill curve that you have to climb in order to make sure you're good at this game. Take for example the H&K 416 that I'm using and the M4 carbine that I've been using in the video so far. Both of those do have quite strange recoil patterns. The H&K bounces around all over the place, especially if you stick any of it a sight that's anything above about 2 times magnification, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of vertical recoil. As I said, there's no reason why you can't jump into this game, but this may have been one of the deciding factors as to why people didn't pick this game up and carry on playing it. The skill curve for me was really good, I really enjoyed that, but I think for a lot of casual players, maybe the skill curve was just a little bit too high. Another thing is the weapon camos. You can see from my sniper rifle in the intro that I had this like baby blue camo on there, and you might see later in the video there's like this forest one. You can get an all pink camo from your weapon. It's brilliant. This game's customization level was absolutely fantastic. From my perspective, I wanted the ability in Battlefield 4 to be able to change the stock, the barrel, the sights, the underbarrel attachments, laser sights, you name it. I wanted the option to change all of that. And to give DICE credit, we did get a lot of that in Battlefield 4, but not to the level that Medal of Honor and Danger Close went with Warfighter. I'll show you a little bit of the menu screen here. I'll cut from the gameplay. This is how you can customize your weapon. It's all interactive, so you can see it change in front of you depending on what you're doing. Your soldier will move the gun round so you can see what you're doing to your weapon. Up in the top right hand corner, of course, it shows you how different choices are going to affect the statistics of the weapon. And overall, I think it's a really nice menu screen. But again, looking at it, there are so many different things that you can change. Potentially, people that bought this game, did they think that, oh, there's too much customization for me here, I just want to pick up a gun and shoot? Because that's what Battlefield 3 gave us. Medal of Honor Warfighter was such a step forward in customization that perhaps, because the Medal of Honor series wasn't quite as big as the Battlefield series, didn't really carry its weight forward with its fans, and ultimately failed because it was just a little bit ahead of its time. Maybe, perhaps, I'm not sure. One thing that I really liked what Danger Close did with Warfighter was put a huge amount of emphasis on how much you needed to play with your squad, or at least your buddy. It was called the buddy system. Your buddy had the option to spawn on you, heal you, give you ammo, and really those kind of interactions means that you were always in close proximity to that player. You could always rely on them to be behind you and give you your health back and give you ammunition back. And the same worked the other way, that you would always be covering their back. I really liked that in Warfighter, the fact that it encouraged you to play with someone else and play as a team, or at least as a squad. Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, for me, don't do that enough. A lot of people say that there's not enough objective play in Battlefield 4 and the community don't really focus on objectives and just go as lone wolves. I'd have to agree. Medal of Honor Warfighter done really well in that regard and encouraged you to actually play with a team and get skill-based points for that. Now, as I said in the video, I've given out a lot of different points as to why I like Warfighter, but they could also be translated into reasons why you wouldn't like Warfighter. But I really would like to get your opinion today, guys, you down in the comments. Make sure you leave just some thoughts and opinions if you did actually play Warfighter, because I think it was a really good FPS game that had a lot of potential, but both EA and the community, review sites, just didn't give it a chance. And ultimately it got cancelled about 2 or 3 months after release and never really got to show us what it could have been. Make sure you leave some comments today, guys. I will be reading them, and I'll probably do a follow-up video in a few weeks' time just showing off a couple of other things about Warfighter as well, because I'm really enjoying playing this game at the moment. But anyway, thank you very much for watching the video today, guys. Make sure you leave a rating down below and leave your comments too. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.